Hello to everyone. Welcome and thank you for registering to this webinar organized by the ICLEI World Secretariat for partners of the TAP. This webinar will be about introducing and explaining the TAP, the Transformative Actions Program. I am Annabelle Roblin, Junior Officer at the World Secretariat, and I am working on project development regarding the TAP and COP21, where ICLEI and partners are organizing a TAP pavilion. I will present this webinar today together with Agathe Cavicchioli, Junior Project Officer in the Low Carbon Cities team here at the World Secretariat as well. So Agathe, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you very much, Annabelle, and thank you to all of our attendees for joining today's webinar. I am joining today for my role in drafting the application form, and therefore I will be able to take you through it and explain the final application form.
Thank you, Agathe. Louisa Weiss from the Knowledge Management team at the World Secretariat is also supporting us regarding technical matters. So, Louisa, if you would like to say a few words about this.
Yes, also from me, a very warm welcome to this webinar. I will just give you a very short technical introduction to the system we are using. You as an attendee will be muted throughout the two presentations that you will hear. If you have any questions you would like to pose, you can type them into the question box that you see at the bottom of the webinar interface in front of you. We will have a question and answer session in the end, and we're happy to answer your questions, to discuss them with you. You can raise your hand if you want to discuss things with us then later in the question and answer session, and we are happy to unmute you so we can engage in discussions. I hope you will enjoy this webinar with us. Enjoy. And last note is that if you have technical problems, also feel free to type these problems into the question box. I'm happy to assist you. Enjoy.
Thank you, Louisa. So let's start then. So here is an outline of today's webinar, which will have two parts. So first of all, a 20 to 25 minute presentation, which will take you through the TAP, introducing and explaining the concept of the TAP and its meaning for ICLEI's work and strategy, the content of the program, that is the 4 pillars of the TAP, and then some general information on the TAP 2015 application and selection process, that is the selection of TAP projects in the run-up to COP21 next December. So this will include a timeline of the process, some information on the selection criteria, on the application form, and finally on the selection process. So, and as Louisa said, we also have at the end of this presentation a question and answer session where you will be given an opportunity to ask your questions to us. So also note that as a complement to this webinar, we will send you a link afterwards to a presentation delivered by Yunus Arikan, Head of Global Policy and Advocacy here at the World Secretariat. And this presentation will give you some more background information about the international climate negotiations process and COP21. So let's start by what is the TAP? So the TAP is a 10-year program, the purpose of which is to accelerate implementation of climate actions of local and subnational governments. So both in the crucial pre-2020 and post-2020 phases. And it will also seek to raise the level of ambition at all levels then. So local, national, but also international, of course. So more specifically, the TAP will seek to improve access to existing capital flows to cities and regions, and also to catalyze additional capital flows from public and private investors. So the TAP has two missions in this regard. So one is political, and one is more of a climate mission, you could say, of the TAP. So first of all, on the political level, the aim of TAP is to actively advocate for better and quicker access to larger amounts of climate finance for cities and regions, Why? Because it is in cities and regions where climate change can be tackled effectively. And as we all know, effective climate action at all levels has become very urgent given the challenges linked to climate change and also increasing urbanization. So through the TAP, local governments and their networks will pursue and intensify their efforts to bridge the gap between the negotiations and the implementation process by putting forward these proposals of transformative action. So this leads us to the climate mission of the TAP. So the TAP will aim to assist the pre-brokering between subnational authorities and financing bodies where possible, and to mobilize cities and regions to design these transformative and bankable climate actions. So to achieve these two missions, the TAP will rely on two processes that you can see from the graph on the slide. So first of all, a process of mobilization of key actors at local, national, and international levels. And a process of visibilization, of showcasing the climate actions that is already, the actions already being implemented at these levels, but also the local climate potential. So that will be achieved through already existing tools, such as reporting platforms, but also TAP will have its own tools. That is an online registry of climate ambition, you could say. So this is the TAP online platform. And then a TAP pavilion that will be organized at every future COP. So the TAP will thus guide ICLEI's work with and for cities and regions over the next 5 to 10 years. And it will enable to better connect the cities to funding opportunities. And of course, it will contribute to ICLEI's political agenda towards and beyond COP21. So turning to the content of the program. So as you can see, the TAP has 4 action pillars. So let's start with the TAP project pipeline, which is already underway. As you can see on the graph, the application started on the 5th of May. And already the first deadline is on the 15th of June. So the project pipeline is the process by which every year up to 100 TAP projects are selected in the run-up to the annual COP and presented during the COP, starting this year, as I said, at COP21 in Paris. So during this process, cities and regions are actively mobilized to apply to TAP and then supported as far as possible in their application by the TAP team. Both in the Secretariat and regional offices. Then turning to the TAP platform, online platform. So before the COP, all projects submitted by cities and regions will be featured on this online platform in a structured and unified format. And so, yeah, the idea is that the platform will centralize the projects and make them more visible so that financing institutions can have access to relevant information about them to consider financing. Turning to the TAP pavilion. So the TAP pavilion will be the physical component of the program. That is the space where the selected TAP projects will be presented to national delegations, international donors and financing agencies during the COP. And then finally, the TAP advocacy for accelerated climate action will build on previous achievements in local climate advocacy, and it will diversify and strengthen it in various ways. So, of course, it will try and raise awareness of the potential of transformative and subnational climate action by showcasing success stories. It will also seek to deepen the dialogue with national governments, promoting effective vertical integration between different levels of government. It will also try and reinforce the engagement with international and national funding bodies and development agencies. And it will also seek to continue the coordination of information sharing and debates on local and subnational climate finance in the realm of international climate negotiations. That's why you can say that the TAP advocacy work will really try and create this essential interaction nexus with all levels of government and also engage, as I said, with financing bodies. So turning to the TAP 2015 application and selection process. So here, as you can see, we have a timeline that is running from May to the COP21 in December, that is 7 months. So as I said previously, application started early May. To support the application process over the next 2 months, ICLEI offices will be facilitating webinars for potential applicants to the TAP. Applicants can apply through the offline form for now, and so very soon we will be launching the online form on the TAP website. And so the form and the website will also be released in several languages soon, so that we can mobilize a wide panel of projects throughout the world. So on top of English, we will have French, Portuguese, Spanish, Korean, Mandarin, and Japanese, ideally. So this is in process, and our regional offices will also, of course, support in this process. So you can also see from the timeline that there are 3 deadlines for submissions to the TAP. The 15th of June, as I said, but also 15th of July and 15th of August. In June, July, partners will be invited, as you can see, to appoint a member for the TAP selection panel. So appoint a member and also appoint an expert who will sit in the expert committee. So I will go back on this distinction later on in this presentation. And so yes, as you can see, the deadline for this would be around the 31st of July. Finally, the selection process will start from the 15th of August and will run in September as well, with applicants to the TAP being notified if they have been successful or not on the 5th of October. October is also the month where the online platform will be activated in preparation for the COP. And finally, the 100 projects will be presented in the pavilion at COP21. Now, turning to the selection criteria and the definition of what a TAP project is. So let's start by the definition. So as you can see on the slide, we have what we mean, when we talk about a TAP project, we actually refer to 2 different types of projects. That is, on the one hand, fast-track transformers, and on the other hand, post-2020 transformers. So they differ in 3 respects. So first of all, on the stage they have reached. So either they are already fully designed with a clear budget and action plan and a management structure, or they only have the concept ready. Then in terms of needs identified in terms of enabling the implementation of the project, so either they only require funding, or they require funding and also some additional advice, expertise in terms of capacity building, strategy development, technical and financial advice, etc. So considering these 2 points, this determines the implementation period of the project. So either the project can be implemented in the pre-2020 period or in the post-2020 period. So regarding the selection criteria, so first of all, if we consider the overall selection or distribution of TAP projects, 5 criteria will be taken into account. As you can see, so first of all, the level of transformative potential that I will define in the next slide. Secondly, the regional balance, that is, we are looking that the projects are distributed fairly equally between the north and the south. Then a balance of mitigation and adaptation projects, and also a sectorial balance, so projects in transport, energy, biodiversity, etc. And finally, transparency, that is how informed the applications are, the projects are. Now, regarding individual projects, so the key aspect is that TAP applicants should have the potential to transform society. And this means responding to 3 criteria that you can see on the table. So that is being ambitious, cross-cutting, and inclusive. So regarding the ambitious criteria, projects can either be first-time projects and action plans that will benefit a large percentage of the population, or they are already existing and they will be scaled up to benefit even more, a larger proportion of the population. Turning to cross-cutting, so we look at three different things. First of all, how different communities will benefit from the project, how different types of resources will benefit in terms of management, so sustainable energy, air quality, land use, procurement, etc. And then how the project contributes to other subnational, national, and global sustainability goals. Finally, regarding the inclusiveness aspect, so we are looking how and if the project encourages cross-departmental coordination for effective implementation. We are also looking at if the citizens and local stakeholders are actively engaged in the process, in the project. We are looking at how the project fosters collaboration with other levels of government. And finally, we are looking at if and how the private sector is engaged in the project. So, regarding the TAP application form, so I will now hand over the presentation to Agathe, who will tell you a bit more about the application form, how to access it, and submit it on the TAP website.
Thank you very much, Annabelle. I believe at this point all attendees should be able to see my screen. I will now take you through the application process. As Annabelle has pointed out, applicants will be able to submit projects to the TAP through both an offline and an online application process. However, at the moment, the online application form is not yet available. It will be shortly launched in the next week. In the meantime, applicants wishing to submit projects may go to the TAP website, as you can see on my screen right now, and into the Apply section of the website to download the offline application form. In this section of the website, they will find key information under 3 tabs. The first tab is for downloading the application form. The second tab of this page is for submitting the completed application form, and the third one summarizes basic information about how to apply to TAP. For the purpose of this webinar, I have pre-downloaded the application form, which you should be able to see right now. As you can see, it is an Excel spreadsheet that consists of 6 tabs. All tabs marked in green are mandatory for the application of a TAP project. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to take you through all the fields in the application form, but I will give you an overview of each tab. I would like to take this opportunity to point out that it is a lengthy but comprehensive form that has been designed to minimize the workload of the applicant and yet to capture all essential, detailed, and comprehensive information about the transformative projects. Note, one way of doing so was to mark certain fields as required as opposed to optional fields. I will show you later within the tabs which are required, which are not. First of all, the first tab of the application form, as you can see, is a README form with basic instructions and essential information about the application process, such as deadline and other indications on how to save and upload the form, as well as its supporting documents, which I will explain in a second. You should be aware that this first page of the TAP refers to the procedure after submission of the offline reporting form. Namely, after an applicant has uploaded their offline application form, they will be given credentials to log in to the online application form as well. This means that the TAP team here will upload their information as an online submission, which they will be able to view thanks to their login credentials and to edit. They will also there be able to upload the required supporting documents. Moving on to the second tab, as you can see, this is a basic and straightforward registration sheet where the applicant must fill in basic information about the applying governmental entity as well as contact points and political liaison contact. This tab has an important field at the bottom here that states that the applicant agrees that the TAP overview sheet, which I will describe in a minute, will be put to be publicly available on the TAP online platform. Now this is the TAP overview sheet, which will be made available on the TAP online platform, and it is the most important tab of the offline application form because it captures the transformative potential of the local government's project on the three key criteria that Annabelle has described, namely how ambitious, how cross-cutting, and how inclusive a project is. This TAP overview will not only be put online on the TAP online platform, but it will also be used for pre-screening projects in the selection process. As you can see from this tab onwards, a number of fields are either drop-down or descriptive fields. For example, this first one is a drop-down field. The applicant, when clicking on it, will be given the option between two answers, and the right-hand side of the form has definitions to help them make their decision. Other fields, such as this one, are descriptive fields and will require the applicant to type in their information and answers, as you can see on my screen. Moving on to the next tab, this is the applicant profile. This tab requires the applicant to provide background and contextual information on the local or subnational government submitting the project. This includes information about the government, as well as geopolitical, socioeconomic information, and climate commitments. Section 5 of this tab is the sectoral information. This is a lengthy part of the application where we ask the applicant to fill in information about the related sector to their project. As you can see, none of these fields are required. They are not marked with an asterisk. However, we do encourage applicants to fill in as much information as possible, since the selection process will also look at the completedness of the application forms. Moving on to the next tab, this is the project profile. This contains the core and most detailed information on the project submitted for TAP consideration. It includes general project information, as well as descriptive fields where the applicant may describe the project concept, some basic management information, and information about the transformative potential of the project. This is a more detailed section about the transformative potential as seen in the TAP Overview tab. It includes, notably, information on the co-benefits of the project. Further down, we also ask information about the climate potential of the project, both in terms of mitigation and adaptation. The bottom of this form also requires information about the financial and the technical feasibility of the project, as well as a list of a certain number of required documents. Please note that every field marked with an asterisk means that it is required to both answer and to upload the document. Finally, the last tab is non-mandatory. It is a tab where we give the opportunity for the applicant to report any city council or government body decisions that have set a climate target. The applicant may report it here to show how transformative how the transformative action achieved in his project is helping to meet the climate target, or if the commitment itself is transformative. Once completed, the application must be submitted on the TAP website in the Submit section, along with a compressed file of all the required supporting documents. Thank you, and I hand it back to Annabelle.
Thank you very much, Agathe. And so now I will finish by some information on the selection process. So the selection process is still being defined at the moment, but we have started to define the role of that is how it could look like. So we would have, as I said earlier on, two entities intervening in the process. So the idea is that each TAP partner, so local government organizations, financing institutions, civil society, NGOs, etc., would appoint a representative to sit in the project selection panel, and also an expert who would sit in the expert committee. And so the expert committee would make recommendations to the project selection panel for the selection of TAP projects. So as I said, guidelines are being developed and will be shared with partners in due course. And another principle that we have defined is that the process should be based on a consensus-seeking approach. That is, that rather than having a strict voting system whereby a majority would win per se, we would rather look for general agreement and consensus on what a good TAP project could be. So that's it for now. Thank you for your attention, and we will now turn to a question and answer session where you can ask your questions to us.
Yes, thank you very much,
Louisa,
Annabelle.
do you have any
No, I was just going to say we do not have any questions, but if you like, we can just Carina Bogström has raised her hand, so I will unmute her first. Carina, go ahead, pose us your question.
Hi everyone, thank you for a very good presentation, very clarifying. But I have one remaining question. So WWF and ICLEI, we are running the UFR City Challenge, so we will be recruiting cities to demonstrate their climate leadership and commitments and actions. We will be launching this initiative before the TAP deadline, and our intention is to encourage all cities that apply for the City Challenge to also, when they describe projects, also consider whether those projects would fit as TAP applications. And I wonder, because I understand in the online template there will be a way of transferring information that you've already reported on the Kaban into the TAP application document. How about the first, like, will this be executed, this transferability, at the launch of the online template, or will this happen later? Because I'm just concerned that there is a quite short timeline for the online launch.
Thank you very much, Carina.
Thank you very much
for your question. Yeah, go on, Agathe. Sorry.
Thank you, Annabelle. Yes, thank you, Carina, for your question. So a few things about this. Yes, you are right, and we are hoping and we're working to create this connection between the CCR and the TAP application, which will allow which will allow entities that are already reporting to the CCR to populate some fields in the TAP application form that are similar. This is currently something that our technical staff is working on, and hopefully we'll be able to launch in the shortest delays, which means as soon as the online application process goes live. That being said, we are also talking and considering the possibility to make this connection the other way around, meaning that applicants to the TAP program, both those that are engaged in the online application process as well as those that submit offline reporting offline application forms, excuse me, will also be given the opportunity to signal to the TAP team that they would like this their answers to be reported to the CCR, thus becoming CCR reporting entities. My colleague Lucy, whom I believe you know and I think is engaged in the Earth Hour City Challenge, also was an attendee to an internal TAP webinar recently, and also brought up the possible synergies with the Earth Hour City Challenge, which we have discussed internally, and this question has been taken up by our team here to try and explore how to best maximize the synergies between the two projects. So I guess, and I hope I'm answering your question in saying that yes, there will be a connection for entities that are already reporting to the CCR, and we are going to build one so that TAP applicants may also report to the CCR.
Yeah.
And yes, and I believe we will further engage in conversations about how to link with Earth Hour City Challenge, for example.
Yeah, because I think that the deadline for when this will be possible, that's quite an important info to share with both the cities that we engage for the TAP and the cities that we engage for the City Challenge, which I assume will tend to be the same cities, more or less.
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. Yes, we will. I will signal to my team your point, and it's true that the time issue must absolutely be considered. Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karina.
Thank you, Karina.
All right. Thank you very much, Karina, for this question. I currently have no further question. We have two partners from Eurocities present, Nikolai and Wanda. I don't know if any of you would like to pose a question to us. I have unmuted you, so if you want to interact, feel free. Nikolai, yes, please.
Yes, hi. I'm afraid we were...
Sorry to interrupt you. We cannot hear you. You will have to speak up or fix your headphone a little bit. Maybe hold it closer to your mouth.
Can you hear me now? You can't hear me.
If you can increase the volume, it would be better for us to hear you.
Is this better?
Yeah, already.
Okay. I'm afraid we missed the beginning of the presentation, unfortunately. I have a question about the length of commitment for the applying city. How long does this the TAP? How long does it need to be implemented to qualify?
Annabelle, Agathe, did you hear the question?
Yes, I'm not sure I understood correctly, but if I understood well, you are asking if the length, the period where the project is being implemented would count towards in the selection process. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so There is no, at the moment, there is no specific criteria on this topic. The idea is that TAP projects that would be labeled as TAP projects would be on the platform for the whole duration of the TAP program. So I am guessing this is not a decisive selection criteria. Yes, that's what I can say. Maybe Agathe, do you have any further? Would you like to add something about this?
No, all good. Thank you, Annabelle.
Okay, right. Yeah, so does that answer your question, Nicola?
Yes, that does. And I have a second question, which is about the presentation itself. How are you sharing that?
Sorry, about sharing what? I'm sorry, I didn't.
About sharing the presentation.
Sharing
yeah.
this current presentation. Right. So yeah, we will make it. We will soon, most probably next week, we will share this presentation with you, so that you can afterwards share it yourself with the cities, regions that you are in contact with, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, Nicola.
Yes, thank you very much. We also have a partner from the GIB Foundation present, Raul. Raul, would you like to pose a question to us?
Yes, so first of all, thank you very much for this presentation. From my side, there are no further questions, but we are really looking forward to this project and, of course, to the selection process with all the interesting projects that will be submitted.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So there are no further questions from the audience as of now. So I hand over to Annabelle to wrap up.
Thank you, Louisa. So yes, this was a rather general session about the TAP. If you have any further specific question that you would like to ask us, feel free to contact Marie-Sophie Beyer, who is the COP21 TAP coordinator here at the World Secretariat. So you can see her contact details on the slide. So yes, you can get in touch with her and schedule a call. That's perfectly fine. And so yes, just a reminder that we will, with the presentation, we will also send you a link to a presentation by Yunus Arikan, Head of Advocacy and Global Policy, about the international climate negotiations. And so, of course, we would like to very much thank you for participating in this webinar, and thank you also for your support for the TAP. And so, yes, we will be in touch very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your attendance.